Hello, and welcome to Victory Chat with Jackie McKeever. I'm your host, Jackie McKeever. And on this podcast, we have victory conversations from a wide range. We talk about finance. We talk about life situations. We talk about business, y'all. And because I am a book addict, we're going to talk about some books, child. So today, so for season 2, we're doing a special series behind the author's pen, where we interview some authors. We get all up in their business, okay, and learn a little bit about their book. So today we have special guest Julia Collia. She wrote a book. And the reason why I paused, because I want to make sure I said it right. Okay. She wrote a book. It's called Whitecaps, Falling. I can't read my writing. I'm sorry. Tell them the name of your book. I'm sorry. And Lonely Nights at the End.
It's called Whitecaps, Falling Stars, and Lonely Nights.
Falling Star. That's what they say. Okay. Yep. Y'all, this is going. Y'all, what happens. Okay. I couldn't read my writing. I wrote it. I couldn't read it. Okay.
We all do it.
We keep going. Okay. Are you ready to get in the hot seat, girl?
Of course I am.
Well, let's go. Why did you write this book?
So I actually started it as a journal, an at-home diary. You know, every kid has one. It started 4 years ago, and I realized that writing down what I was going through helped me a lot. You know, I was going through anxiety. I was going through depression. I was dealing with my family traumas, and I realized that writing it down in the form of poetry helped me cope so much. And during that time, it also discusses a toxic relationship that I was in, and nobody knew about it. It was just something that I did. And I like to say every day, but there's not every day. Sometimes it'll be a lot within 3 weeks, or it'll be spaced out like months at a time. So basically, I wrote to help, and I also read poetry to help as well. I read it to understand, you know, like, I can relate to this. I'm not alone. I'm not the only person going through something like this. So at the end of the day, my leatherback book that my mom bought me from Cracker Barrel that I was writing in, I was like, you know what? I can publish this. You know, I could help someone the way these other books have helped me. And that's why when it opens up, it's talking to the reader itself, hoping they'll come find peace in what I wrote.
That was a wonderful answer. Y'all, I feel like I could just give her the mic and just sit here and listen.
Working on it.
How long did it take for you to write this book?
Yeah, so the first date in the book is July 4th of 2018. And I believe I have 2 entries starting on that date. So I started then, and then my last entry was probably the end of last year, 2020. So 2-ish years, I think.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I just finished my first draft on a book that I picked up that I started writing 5 years ago. You know,
wow.
When you're doing something that involves your life, especially with trauma, you know, sometimes you can feel those emotions, you know what I'm saying? And so you have to really prepare yourself or arm yourself for that. So I applaud you for doing it. Were there any delays in writing the book?
So delays in writing, I would definitely say that the main one was I went through periods of writer's block. And although I was feeling, XYZ, I couldn't actually write it down. I would just sit there with a pen in my mind, like, okay, I feel this way, but why I can't get it down on paper. So that's why sometimes you'll see it like February, right? And then the next entry is in like August. And the reader's kind of like, wow, that was a lot of time that went by. But then once I decided to go ahead and publish, it was pretty smooth sailing, other than the interior design aspect of it, because they weren't really listening to me. I was like, well, this is what I want. And they're like, well, you're going to get this. And I'm like, if I'm going to give you money for it, that's not what's going on. So
that part.
Yeah.
I love it. Girl, command that room.
Exactly.
It's
so
your money, you have it your way.
Thank you. I sent so many drafts back. I'm like, no, this is how I want it to look. So we probably went back and forth maybe 15 times until they finally gave me what I wanted.
That's good.
So that took the longest. But other than that, they were very nice people to work with.
Who was this book written for?
So I know you sent me the list of questions, and I was reading this one and I could name off people, but in reality, I think it was written for myself. Because when I talked to people about it, I realized that I needed to publish that book in order to heal as a person. So the toxic relationship that it discusses, I was able to finish and publish the book after I finally had enough courage to leave. After my manuscript was done, ironically, I was out of state, and my mom showed my manuscript to my dad, who is the alcoholic in the book. And him knowing how I felt actually mended our relationship. And I never thought that that was possible. I really didn't.
That's amazing. That's just the power of words. That's
exactly
why I love words so much and love books so much, because words are powerful.
They are. And I really didn't expect all of that to come out of a little 109-page book. But it was written for myself. And second in line would be anyone else who is going through something similar, to know that, they're not alone. May feel like it at the time, but they're really not.
That part.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that traps us. And because I'm a advocate, because I broke free of depression, major depression and stuff. So it's good to know that you're not alone, because it ends up trapping you inside your head and your emotions, and it keeps you stuck. So that is wonderful. I'm happy it was a healing process for you.
Thank you.
So is this your first book?
It is my first book. Go ahead.
Have you written before?
I've written here and there. Until this book, I've never actually gotten like super serious about it. After I published it, I went ahead and I contacted a local writing foundation, and I've actually had a couple of my pieces displayed at local galleries. And
wow.
And I also wrote a poem on pollution, and our local news posted it there too. So I'm slowly trying to work my way up.
I love it. You got the writer's bug. Yes. So will there be other books in this genre or other genres for you?
Yes, the same genre. I'm actually working on a second one. I don't really know much about it. I know I've got about 20 entries at the moment. But it is definitely going to be a time thing, considering that I'm going to keep the theme with it being dated and with it being personal experience oriented. However, what I can say is that the new one is going to be a lot more on the happy side, because this current one is very deep and very emotional and raw, while this new one is gonna talk more about how I grew and how I got better.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's like the sequel to it.
It is.
what writers, what do you want readers to get out of reading this book?
I want them to read it in an hour, and I want them to put it down and feel amazing about themselves. I want them to realize that, they may have this stuff going on with their parents or this stuff going on in their relationships, but they know that they are not stuck. They know that it won't last forever, and everyone else goes through the exact same stuff, and it'll be okay. I want them to feel okay.
That's
really.
good. That is good. You're so deep. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Girl. Okay. So what other books or authors inspire you?
I would definitely say my number one is Ruby Kaur. I took a lot of her styling. I started off reading her poetry, and then my shelf gradually increased to the whole length of my bed with poetry books. But she's definitely the number one that I've read about or watched videos on. I watch all of her talk shows and whatever she does. She's so inspiring. She is. I've taken a lot of notes from her.
That's good. So what advice would you give somebody new writing a book?
Take your time, really, because I've rushed pieces that I've had due, and I've sat there and I'm like, okay, I need to get this done. But if you look at it from that point of view, you're not going to get anything done that's worth reading. So I would say take your time, don't rush anything, find your zen, your reading capacity, or not reading, your writing capacity, and just sit down and let it happen.
That's good. That's some good advice. The final question we have, can you give us a sample what's in the book or some type of blurb or something, sneak peek, and let them know where to find it?
Yes, of course. There is, let me see, I will read the bit where I'm talking to the reader. So this is actually on page 61, labeled "This is when we ended." This part is discussing when I knew that I needed to actually end it with my ex. So at the end, I said, "You are your own person. You can make choices about your life. You can decide what you want to do with your body. And most important, you are not obligated to listen to a word they say to you." And there was a bad word in there, but I didn't want to say that. But anyway, my book is on Amazon, and you could type in Whitecaps, Falling Stars, and Lonely Nights, or simply just look up my name, and it will be there.
That's a cute title. That sounds like a poem by itself.
Thank you. I wanted to do something short so people would remember it or type it in better, but nothing else really caught my attention. So I've got so many ideas for the second book's title.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Julia, for joining us. Y'all make sure y'all go to Amazon and follow her. Y'all, I'm so impressed by her. She is so mature.
Thank you.
Like, this is an amazing interview. Y'all make sure y'all support her. Follow her on her Amazon page, purchase her book, connect with her. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, child, because I got more coming, honey. And hopefully she can come back in our hot seat again so we can get all in her business some more for her sequel. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your book and
thank you.
And letting us go behind your author's pen. This is Victory Chat with Jackie McKeever. Remember, your victory starts here. Thank you.
Thank you.